Hey guys, we are graphing an exponential equation today, okay? This one has a negative out front. Okay, so I am assuming that you are feeling pretty comfortable with graphing these guys without a negative, and you're just like, ooh, I'm not sure what to do when the negative's there. If that's not the case, I will link a video for you in the corner where I do an example without a negative, and then come back to this guy when you need to know how to do it with a negative, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and graph this. I know that these two guys modify my parent graph, right? And we know that with exponential graphs, we can kind of have a different parent graph each time, right? So I'm going to use the parent graph y equals -2 to the power of x, okay? That's just this equation without these, right? So once I find that, great, then I just do these shifts, right? So that +4 tells me that my graph is going to shift to the left 4, and the +3 on the back tells me my graph is going to shift up 3, right? Now that negative out front is taken care of because we are using it as a part of our parent graph, right? So to figure out what this guy looks like, I'm going to create a table, okay? So I'm going to have x and y, okay? So when I'm going to pick 4 points to plug in, okay? So I'm going to plug in -1, 0, 1, and 2, okay? So let's first plug in -1. So I'm going to have y equals -2 to the power of -1, okay? So when I have a negative exponent, I'm going to move it from the numerator to the denominator, right? So that'll end up being -1/2. If you're not familiar with negative exponents, I will link a video for you, okay? But when I plugged in -1 for x, I got -1/2 for y, okay? Next, I'm going to plug in 0. So I'm going to have y equals -2 to the power of 0. Now, anything to the power of 0 is 1, right? And remember, this 0 is just with the 2. Right? So 2 to the power of 0 becomes 1. Again, if you're not familiar with that, I'll link a video in the corner. And then we still have that negative out front. So my answer would be -1. Okay? So when I plugged in 0 for x, I got -1 for y. Now let's go ahead and plug in 1. So I get -2 to the power of 1. So 2 to the power of 1 is 2. And then I still have the negative out front. So it's -2, right? So I plugged in 1, I got -2. And last one, I'm going to plug in 2. So I've got -2 to the power of 2. Again, 2 times 2 is 4. I wrote that negative really close, so it's kind of hard. Hold on, let's write this again. So it should look more like this, -2 to the power of 2, right? The squared is just applied to this 2. Okay, because there's not a parenthesis around the negative. So 2 times 2 gives me 4, and then I still have the negative out front. So my answer is going to be -4. Okay, so when I plugged in 2, I got -4. Okay, so now let's go ahead and graph these and see what my parent graph looks like. Okay, so I've got -1, -1/2, 0, -1, 1, -2, and 2, -1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is what this guy looks like. And if you've been graphing these, which you probably have, you know that when we have a positive here, it goes up, right? So because this one is negative, it goes down. So that is good news, okay? But remember, this is not my answer. This is that graph, right? -2 to the power of x. So now we need to shift it to the left 4 and up 3. Okay, so I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to start at this point, shift it to the left 4 and up 3. Okay, so that was that point. Next, we're going to do this point to the left 4 and up 3. Okay, then this guy to left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. And last one, to left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now this is what the new equation looks like. Okay, so keep in mind, if you were submitting this on an assignment or something, the gray graph is not actually part of your answer, right? That was kind of a guide. So if you did it all in pencil, you might want to erase that one so that your teacher knows for sure you know which one the answer is, right? Okay, but hopefully this helped. If you need some more examples, I will link a whole playlist for you. Thanks.